Mutual Benefit Corporation, Wednesday, November 8th, 2017, 10 a.m. in the boardroom. And I would now ask Tom Circle to lead the Pledge of Allegiance, wherever he may be.
All please stand and face the flag of our country. Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Okay, we're on Village Television. Emily, are you here? I do not see Emily from the Globe. Item number 4, approval of the agenda.
I so move.
All right.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? All right, so approved. Item number 5, member comments.
Good morning. Jules Zallen, 3124A. I have no idea how this board is planning on dealing with the brouhaha over a casual and clearly innocent remark a member recently made to one of our employees. But if no decision has been made, I want to strongly express my horror at the fact that it actually got to this point already. We are living through a period in which shootings, acts of terror, and sexual harassment dominate the headlines, at least the headlines that are not dominated by the new president. But that very atmosphere is like a vortex capable of pulling in all sorts of conduct that in normal times would be viewed as totally innocuous. Such a freighted atmosphere offers the temptation to make a public statement, to take a public position that appears at first glance to show our community's commitment or resolve to the stricter standards of conduct. I urge you to guard against this sort of bandwagon thinking, because the join the crowd thinking elevates political correctness above the only issue you should be considering, and that is whether the member's conduct deserves to be punished. And in that respect, there can be only a single answer. It was clearly innocent. You already know all you need to know to exculpate him. His entire life is a testament to his basic goodness. His work as a volunteer advisor to numerous committees only underscores that. He is a big, friendly, garrulous, generous man who has been a real asset to Laguna Woods Village. Is it even conceivable that someone like that would represent a threat to anyone, would do anything untoward? This is someone who has run and plans to run for a board position. It's incomprehensible that he would think that there would be anything untoward in his conduct. The whole idea is offensive to logic. So when you make your decision, you should balance his casual, almost silly comment against a lifetime of accomplishment, a lifetime of real value. You have the ability to destroy that, not only his reputation in the community, but his reputation, his very reputation. And for what? A silly, casual comment that should have been laughed at. Did this young girl react reasonably? I agree, it does not matter. She may have been freaked out, but her reaction alone must not be determinative. We don't know what in her past may have primed her to react so badly. Given the stakes in this matter, your decision will have lasting consequences, not only for him, but for yourselves. You'll have to live with your decision, a decision that can destroy a lifetime of good work. It may be easier just to go along to do the politically correct thing and appear to be standing for a higher standard of conduct. It will take real courage to do the right thing. So in a way, everyone is on trial in this matter, as much as he is. I urge you to put out of your mind the charged atmosphere and return him to his rightful place in our community. Thank you.
I feel very uncomfortable discussing this, but all I can tell you is that the matter was brought before the GRF executive session yesterday, and we have dealt with the matter.
Thank you.
Gary Morrison, 107. And I've been on the board now for 1 year, and I have just want to say that for those of you that are departing the GRF board, I want to thank you because you've worked well with all of us, and hopefully we have a good working relationship with those coming on.
Any further director comments, member comments? All right, I believe we can go to the next item on the agenda, which is to approve the minutes of the corporate members meeting of November 9th and also March 30th. And if you remember the March 30th meeting, that was over in Clubhouse 7, and that's when we approved the bylaws, the bylaw change. So do I hear a motion to approve the minutes? All right, let's move by Rhina, seconded by Rosemarie. Any discussion? All right, so approved. President's remarks. Well, there's 4 of us up here, but this president wants to say that it has been an honor and a privilege to be elected by the corporate members and to serve on the United Board, GRF first time around, and GRF second time around. So thank you for your confidence. And now, Rosemarie, would you care to say anything?
We lived through another challenging year. I want to thank the third board for being so magnificent, especially and so supportive of me the past few months, but also all of the board members for working so hard together, all of the different boards, so that we could become more successful. We know that we have more challenges. We know that we have to keep Brad under control. But we're very excited about the upcoming time, and we're excited about the election. And I just thank you all and wish you a happy holiday. Thank you.
I want to thank the outgoing members of the board. It was a stressful year, but I think a productive one.
Juanita.
I want to echo what both of my fellow presidents have said. It has been a challenging year, but I'm very proud of my board and the way we have worked together as a team, and I look forward in the next year to even our new members, et cetera, all becoming part of that team. But I also feel that we're a really good team with GRF. We serve on every one of their committees, and I feel that we have been heard and contributed, and certainly to staff. We could not do what we do in this size of a community without the support of our staff.
Thank you. And now I'd like, item number 8, I'd like to introduce Dan Pavich of Martin and Chapman, who is our Inspector of Elections. And do you want to tell how you want it? And Andre, I saw you come in. Did you register with Dan? Okay, all right, thank you. So it's your show. All right. You have nothing to say. You're good. All right. No, now we have to acknowledge the directors whose terms have expired. And those are Director John Beckett, who's in the back of the room, Director Joanne DiLorenzo, Director Catherine Freshley, and myself. So if anybody would like to say anything, you're welcome. right, fabulous. Now we're on. All right, we are now on item number 10, and that's the introduction of the candidates for the 4 3-year terms, which would expire in 2020. And I believe what we've done in the past is allow each person to make a brief statement, correct? All right, are we good with that? All right,
What do you count, brief? 2, 3?
2 minutes max. That's what we did at Meet the Candidates.
Okay.
All right, so Joanne, would you like to go first? You're first on the list.
Thank you. And John, I didn't get to say thank you yesterday for being such a brave president. People who are new to the community maybe don't know that during the turmoil of the transition, GRF lost its president, and John Parker was asked to step in as acting vice president. And he did so well that we subsequently elected him as president. And I think John is hilariously funny. Sometimes he doesn't think my sense of humor is right on, but I really appreciate what you've done for us. And I hope that in the next year and years, we will also have a good GRF president who will help guide the ship of state, as they say, with humor and with an iron fist when necessary. Those of you who know me know that I like to be silly. I'm deadly serious, and I take my responsibilities even more seriously than probably a mortal should. But I do, and I hope that you vote for me if you have the opportunity. Thank you.
All right, our next candidate is Catherine Freshley.
Although I hadn't expected that we'd have this opportunity, I just want to thank everyone for the support that GRF has had over the years. This has been a tough 3-year term. Those of you who know how we started and the work and issues that we went through. But I personally believe that the outcome has been to the positive for the community overall. I think that the creation of VMS and its operation now has been a success. Are there issues? Absolutely. Any transition of an organization takes time, but I think the boards are learning to work together, recognizing that we're all in this together, and unless we work together, the community itself can't be successful. I do agree that part of the transition that we have, and we still have to learn, and I mentioned it during the candidate statements, was that we're still in a period of transition because we all have to learn how to operate with our own management company and operate with people who come from a background where they're not used to having boards very deeply involved in how the money is expended. And that's a transition for board members. It's a transition also for staff. And we're still working through it. I'm confident that with good support and all of us working together, this community can be successful and has a great enduring future, because the next step is a extension of the trust. Thank you. Bye.
Our next candidate is James Juhan.
I would just like to say I appreciate all that GRF has done during the last few years, and also my old board, Third and United. We need to all come together as one, because each one is, if they fail in something, it's going to make the other two. And a lot of issues are coming in here that suits my taste, and I'm ready to get in there and help. I believe in getting up, saying a few words, and saying, I do a lot of work, but I have few words. Thank you.
All right, our next candidate is James Jim Matson.
GRF is a wonderful board to be a part of. The amenities that are under GRF are just incredible. I don't know of any other area around here that can match our amenities that GRF oversees and maintains. I was on the GRF board in 2009, 10, 11. During 2010 and 11 were the 2 years that we designed and developed and actually tore down the old Gulf Starter building and built new building called Village Greens. And that was an incredible opportunity for me, and look forward to continuing this type of thing again with GRF. And I appreciate all your vote. Thank you.
All right, and last but not least, Annette Sabol-Soule.
I'd like to thank everybody for their support, and to the departing directors, thank you for your service. I'm excited for the opportunity to be considered for the GRF board, and I love this community. Please vote. Thank you.
All right. We are now at item number 11, and that will be the explanation of the voting procedure. Dan?
Yes, as discussed, there are 4 open positions to be voted upon today. You'll be getting, 18 people have checked in to get ballots. There are some absentee ballots in the ballot box behind me. I'll open that in a minute. But for you voting today, vote for, the directions are vote for no more than 4. Any ballot with 5 votes will be disqualified. You don't have to vote for 4, but no more than 4, please. Upon commencement of voting, please make your choices at that time, and then fold, when completed, fold your ballot in half just once. So they're all the same, so everybody knows, doesn't know who else voted in a certain manner if I don't fold the ballot that's not folded in that manner. So are we ready to commence voting?
We need a motion to commence voting.
I so move.
All right, it was moved by President DiLorenzo and seconded by President Rothenberg to commence voting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. We shall commence voting. So while we're in this little intermission, I feel remiss that I have not introduced the GRF attorney, Fred Whitney. And also, everybody realizes that Betty Parker's down here because she's the person that does the calculations, and our corporate secretary, Cheryl. All right. I would now entertain a motion to cease balloting. It's been moved by President Rothberg and seconded by President DiLorenzo. Any objection? We shall cease balloting.
Let's go. One more. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, I'm now going to start counting the ballots. Total ballots received is 26. There's one person missing from Mutual 50. And I'll count third first. Okay. First ballot. Joanne DiLorenzo, James Juhan, Jim Mattson, and Annette Sewell. Next ballot. Joanne DiLorenzo, James Juhan, Jim Mattson, and Annette Sewell. Next ballot. Joanne DiLorenzo, Catherine Freshley, James Juhan, Annette Sewell. Next ballot. Joanne DiLorenzo, James Juhan, and Jim Mattson. Just 3 votes there. Next ballot, Joanne DiLorenzo, Catherine Freshley, James Juhan, Annette Sewell. Next ballot, Joanne DiLorenzo, James Juhan, Jim Mattson, Annette Sewell. Next ballot, Joanne DiLorenzo, James Juhan, Jim Mattson, Annette Sewell. Next ballot, Joanne DiLorenzo, James Juhan, Jim Mattson, and Annette Sewell. Next ballot, Joanne DiLorenzo, Catherine Freshley, Annette Sewell. Just 3 votes there as well. Next ballot, Joanne DiLorenzo, Catherine Freshley, and Annette Sewell. 3 votes there as well. Last ballot for third, Joanne DiLorenzo, James Juhan, Jim Mattson, and Annette Sewell. Yeah, all United members were here today, yes. Sorry, third, yes. All 11 for third, yes. Sorry. I'll do 50 next. You have United there? I'll count United next.
Thank you, John.
First ballot for United, Catherine Freshley, Annette Sewell. Just 2 votes there. Next ballot, Joanne DiLorenzo, James Juhan, Jim Mattson, Annette Sewell. Next ballot, Joanne DiLorenzo, Jim Mattson, Annette Sewell. Just 3 votes for that ballot. Next ballot, Joanne DiLorenzo, Catherine Freshley, Jim Mattson, Annette Sewell. Next ballot, Catherine Freshley, Annette Sewell. Just 2 votes on that ballot. Next ballot is Joanne DiLorenzo, Jim Mattson, Annette Sewell. Just 3 votes on that ballot. Next ballot, Joanne DiLorenzo, Catherine Freshley, James Juhan, and Annette Sewell. Next ballot, Joanne DiLorenzo, Catherine Freshley, Annette Sewell. Just 3 votes on that ballot. Next ballot, Joanne DiLorenzo, Catherine Freshley, Jim Mattson, Annette Sewell. Next ballot, Joanne DiLorenzo, James Juhan, Jim Mattson, Annette Sewell. Final ballot for United, Joanne DiLorenzo, Catherine Freshley, Annette Sewell. Just 3 votes on that ballot. And last but not least is Mutual 50. First ballot, Joanne DiLorenzo, Catherine Freshley, James Juhan, and Jim Mattson. Next ballot is blank, no votes for any candidate. Next ballot, Joanne DiLorenzo, James Juhan, Jim Mattson, Annette Sewell. The final ballot for 50, since one member hasn't voted, is Joanne DiLorenzo, Jim Mattson, Annette Sewell. There's also a withhold my vote voted upon. So I'll lean to council on this. If that's voted upon in such a manner where withhold my vote is one of the 4 voted positions, is that the 3 previous to that count? Or-
Yeah, that's how I would count it.
Okay.
And so really, you could count the second ballot as being 4 withheld votes. Is another way to look at it.
Okay. So the 3 in this ballot still, okay, very well.
Yeah, I would.
And that concludes today's election. And I need to. As you can see on the board, Joanne DiLorenzo, I'm sorry, let's start from the top vote getter is Annette Sewell, then Joanne DiLorenzo, Jim Mattson, and James Juhan. Those are your 4 winners for today's election.
Roberta, you are totally out of order, and not for the first time. Security? Ms. Burke wants to leave the room.
It's okay, it's okay. I have broad shoulders, I wish you had.
All right. We are now on item number certification of the election.
I certify this election as completed.
All right, we are now adjourned. Thank you. Eleven.
Yeah, 11-1.
Did you write it down?
Okay. I'll see you at lunch.
Thank you.
Good job.
Now does the new, excuse me, does the new, Now, doesn't the new board come up here and
Yes, for the organizational meeting, we need to move.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Again, yeah.
That's what I told him. Thank you. I used to second. And that got. It could be something we don't see. Well. Morning, young man. How are you? How are you?
You can just sit on the other side of Ray for today, and I'm going to try and find your name tag. I'm sorry.
Attention, attention.
We're still on air, we think. We're wondering if we're still on air, and we think we need
Okay.
to
Get going here.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I know, you know what, I know, I heard other people had problems too, so we're gonna look at keeping the screw caps instead of the flip.
Sean Beckett.
Good morning. Welcome to the organizational meeting of the Board of Directors of the Golden Rain Foundation of Laguna Woods Village, a California nonprofit mutual benefit corporation. This is Wednesday, November 8th, in the boardroom. Calling this meeting to order, and I see we definitely have a quorum, so we can get going. Could we have an approval of the agenda?
I so move.
In a second. Okay, Joanne and Tom. Member comments. Any members like to come and comment?
Is this corporate members only or members of the community?
It says member comments on my agenda. So I think it's any member
Yeah.
because we're a GRF meeting.
Yeah, it's a meeting of the board, so the entire membership.
Yes, so. Oh, and we're not using cards for this particular meeting. Thank
Sure.
you.
Maxine McIntosh, 68C. Seeing how as through the years lately, it's getting more and more difficult to get a lot of people to run. I can remember when we used to have 8, 10, 11 people running for a board years ago. But it's getting harder and harder now to get a good number to run for all the boards. And so I was wondering if the boards might consider in the future a committee that would start with GRF and then have representatives from the housing mutuals to investigate other ways of voting that or getting people to run other ways. Go to other large retirement communities, see what they're doing, see if we can find some kind of a successful program that will work for all of us. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Maxine.
Good morning, everybody, and congratulations for the people who got on the board. One point I want to make, we all, Laguna Woods Village is one team. Unfortunately, we have no representation for United on the board, and I'm hoping that you will not disregard 50% of the community in your decisions. It will give us, I'm confident you will do that. I just want to speak out for myself. Thank you.
Roberta Burke, 933B. Yes, I too am a member of United, and I can't say that anybody is at fault for there not being representation here from United. But the last time I stood here at one of these meetings in an election, I talked about the fact that there were chess pieces that were being moved around so that the powers that be wind up getting what they want to get. It's happened. It has definitely happened for all those who saw the first part of the meeting. I find it very, very upsetting. I find it very discouraging. I don't think that anybody puts the people that voted, many of them, did not put the welfare of this community first. Instead, they put politics first. We watch that on television night after night after night, and I get sick. Then I come to these meetings, and I get just as sick. But I am hoping that although there is no representation for United, that this will be considered, your decisions will be community decisions, what's good for all of us. We have a trust coming up in the future, and I am starting to worry about what's going to happen with that trust, because I am living here long enough to know that there was a move to sort of separate. There's an undercurrent of an attitude to separate United from Third. I hope that doesn't happen. There are some of you I do have confidence in, some of you I don't know. But I do hope that this year,
the fact that you are all from Third, that you can change the mood, the attitude, and the voting power that you have to consider all of us, individually as well as collectively, and not keep moving chess pieces around from Third onto this board and how you want to do it. I thank you.
Rosemary DiLorenzo, 4015 Calle Sonora, and also happily the president of Third. I welcome all of the new board members, and we're excited about working with you. I know one of the things that we've already worked on with Juanita is that we're going to try to have monthly meetings with the president and vice president or an officer of the board, however it works out, so we can make sure that we're working together on things. So I think that's really positive. I get tired of hearing that Third this and Third that, because the thing is Third really gets out there and tries to find people to run. So instead of complaining about us and spreading rumors and whatever people do, we should try to find people who are going to run. We wish there were United people on the board. We really do, because it's fair. We're going to make Tom move back to United just so that we have it. So where we realize that we're all one community, we have no desire to separate from United. I mean, the thing is, this is one community and we want to work together. The last thing is I don't know about this. I know it was possibly coming up. I think that as a new board, we have to revisit pickleball. That's what I have to say. I hear this from members of our community. I have already gotten emails about it, and we have to make sure that we're following the rules and that we're making right decisions. And we don't have another decision here like lawn bowling where we did something for cheap and then we have to redo it. We don't want that to happen. So we really should try to revisit this with the new GRF board who makes these decisions. And we're happy to be working with you. Thank you.
Maggie Blackwell, 71D United. In 2012 to 2013-14, most of the board was united. For many years, most of the board was united. Third never cried out, "Oh, you're not thinking of us. Oh, you're not thinking of us," because all of the directors were, and they were considering the village as a whole. I know most of you. I have never felt like a second-class citizen or underrepresented. You've always listened to me and my concerns. One of you was a United. I'm sure he won't have his memory erased. I feel no concern that United is not currently represented on the board. That could change in a year or two or in 5 months. You never know. Thank you.
Rainer Rothberg, president of the Towers Mutual 50, and though we have not, I think forever, had representation on the GRF board, I feel that the members of GRF have taken us into consideration when rules are made. So I have difficulty understanding why there's this division or potential division between Third and United.
Dick Rader, 270D. Maybe the solution is that we ought to think about rule changes, and that means that maybe we have to think about proportional representation or different ways of approaching it so that we have a diversity of representation from United and Third as opposed to one or the other having disproportionate representation. So to make the point clear, an example might be that we say that there has to be at least 3 or 4 members minimum from one of the mutuals.
I'm going to ask board members if they would like to respond. I'll start with Jim Doohan and go around.
I think I've said enough. I've been speaking for weeks, and I'm glad to be here. And I am acquainted with 4 or 5 people that were on the other board when I was, and I'm wanting to work with them. And my rule is that I've been saying is none of the mutuals or GRF are anything unless they all work together. And I will tell you, if you give me a candidate, the next role, I will see that they get as much power to get on this board as anybody else did. I just put my name in because 6 people said, you got to put your name in. And I seem to follow what people tell me to do because I'm the youngest child. And so I'm glad to be here, and I hope you're going to work with us as we are because this is all we got right now. The only thing about the GRF election for me is the people that get to vote on us are the people that have been on boards and have anything that they've been doing with the GRF board. And so if you go to 17,000 people voting and they only vote, I think 60%, and that's a lot left, but this is 100% vote, and it's coming from you who know where all the work is and what we're trying to do. So I'm just pleased to be here. Thank you.
I have lots of friends in Third Mutual, and I have lots of friends in United, and even Mutual 50. And I want that to continue, so I'd never do anything to jeopardize United.
As trustees of the trust, I believe every one of us will work for community decisions and will work for everyone. Thank you.
Tom?
Since being on this board, I think my positions on working together with all the boards has been pretty clear. This is a team. We have to work together. We have to take advantage of the expertise of members of all 4 boards. And I pledge my support in any way I can to work with others and to listen to the community. Thank you.
Diane?
I don't really have anything to add. I think I'm an independent thinker, but I would say that now when I go to the third meetings, Rosemarie will remember that I actually live in Third, because she usually thinks I live in United. So
I just want to respond to Roberta. You can call me anytime if something happens up here that you thought was a biased decision or a biased statement, because I don't see that anyone here. I can't think of one issue or project that came up where we considered one mutual over another. And so I'll make sure that while I'm working with everyone on this board that certainly doesn't happen, but I can't even think of one instance where that was an issue. Thank you.
Joanne?
I have nothing to add except thank you for your votes. And it's pretty clear that the voting was done by 3 mutuals, and I don't know how we could be expected to not consider all 3 when making our decisions.
John?
I simply want to tell you, I'll continue to make decisions for the entire community. I live very close to United. In fact, I'm the 1/3 in United. And so I'm very sympathetic to the issues that are there, as well as in Third Mutual. So I feel like I'm a citizen of the world.
Ray?
I live in the community. When I make my decisions, I've talked to board members from both Third and United and Mutual 50. I get a lot of input from them, and when I make a decision, it's for the community as a whole, not just because of us, so to speak. And I know there are a lot of other people that do the same thing, we do consider what is on your mind. Thank you.
Dick?
Yes, I'm a little disappointed that United isn't represented on this committee here, or board, because all the committee meetings, they're not going to be there to voice their opinion. But what's that?
They'll still be on the committee.
The committee meeting. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, I will always give all the housing considerations first. I've always have dealt that way, and I will continue to deal that way. Thank you.
Can I say one thing?
Judith?
I think one thing Dick really was trying to say is because there is no GRF resident sitting on this board, none of the committees would be chaired by a resident of United. But they do still sit 2 United representatives and 2 GRF and 1 Mutuals 50. Third United and Mutual 50 are represented on all the committees.
I think we can see from this that this brand-new board is all together on the idea of we represent all of the housing mutuals, and we think of the needs of all of the housing mutuals. Thank you. We are now going to move on to point number 4 on our agenda, which is election of officers by opening nominations. And so we will start with nominations for president. Joanne.
Thank you. I nominate Judith Troutman as president of GRF. Judith has been a very, very significant member, not only of the Third Mutual Board, but also of the GRF Board. We know her to be honest, ethical, hardworking, and ever-present. Judith, I am amazed at the amount of time you give to us, and I thank you for it.
Thank you. I accept the nomination.
Any other nominations? Diane.
I'd like to nominate Tom Circle. I won't give a little campaign speech for him, but I'd like to nominate Tom.
Thank you. Any other nominations?
I accept the nomination.
Any other nominations? Okay, we have 2 folks nominated, Joanne DiLorenzo and Tom Circle, and let's vote.
No. Nominated Judith.
Oh, I mean, Judith. Yes.
Commence voting.
Please commence voting.
Do you want us to fold them?
Tom Circle is the new president of the GRF Board. And And I'm going to ask Fred, do I get out of this chair now and Tom takes over now, or do I finish the meeting? What do I do?
Yeah, so I don't think you have to physically move, but at this point, Tom would take over
hand him
as
the
the
gavel.
president.
Oh, I can't
And
even
carry us through the rest of the agenda.
First of all, I would like to thank my colleagues for voting for me, and I'd like to thank the people that voted for Judith. That's the process.
Tom, a question was asked in the audience. Would it be possible for us to have the vote count? We typically did that, I believe.
I have no problem with that, no, ma'am.
Okay, so that would be, I would be the one to do that. Judith Troutman, 4. Tom Circle, 6. There's 10 of us, right? 5, 6, 4. One had to have abstained. That's all I have here. 4 and 6. Oh, one abstained was the answer over there.
We will now begin nominations for the position of first vice president. I will go ahead and start, and I will nominate Beth Parrott. Anybody else?
I'd like to nominate Joanne DiLorenzo.
Okay. Yes. Will you accept the nomination?
Oh, I accept.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Commence voting. Fill out your ballots.
Here you go, honey.
Well, I bet they don't sell many of these things.
I've already been baptized.
The thing closed again, be careful.
The first vice president is Beth Parrott. The vote was 7-3. One abstain. Okay, I'll now open nominations for second vice president, and I'll start out and nominate Judith Troutman.
I don't accept the nomination. Thank you.
Anybody else nominating for second vice president? Joan?
I nominate Ned Sol.
Annette Soul.
I nominate Joanne DiLorenzo.
Okay. Joanne, you will serve?
I will not. Thank you.
She will not.
I accept. I accept.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes, I nominate Ray Gross.
Okay.
Ray has expressed interest.
Ray, would you serve? Yes, sir. Okay. That's all the nominations. We'll commence voting. Okay, the results are Ray Gross with 5 votes, Annette with 4, and a write-in, Joan Milliman with 1. So Ray Gross is the second vice president. Okay, I will now open it up, nominations for secretary.
I nominate Joan Milliman as secretary.
Any other nominations for secretary? Joan, you will serve?
When there's one person that's uncontested, those, we don't have to do the ballots.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Joan, you are the secretary. Good win. And last but not least, treasurer, and I'm going to nominate Diane Phelps. Will you accept?
Yes.
Any other nominations for treasurer? Diane Phelps is the treasurer.
Thank you for your confidence.
Entertain a motion to close nominations. And
We're going to have, no, I keep looking to Beth, sorry. Do we have any closing comments?
just, let me, just a
I'd like
minute,
to make
just a
a
minute. I'm trying to go by the agenda. Okay.
I'll make a motion to close the nominations. Right.
All in favor? Okay, entertain a motion to approve the resolution on election of officers. By resolution.
And I think
So move.
you have to fill these out and announce them, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I think the secretary, no?
The secretary maybe
Mhm.
does. Yeah, maybe so.
The second page, the resolution,
Fill
I
out
need
the
you to
second, yeah.
fill it out and read the resolution. Yeah,
I think that one, good thinking.
yes.
All right. Resolution 9017 XX, resolved on November 8th, 2017 pursuant to the Golden Rain Foundation bylaws, Article 9, officers, which sets guidelines, terms, and responsibilities for the election of officers to this corporation. The following persons are hereby elected to the office indicated next to their names to serve. Tom Circle, President. Beth Perrick, Vice President. Ray Gross, Second Vice President. Joan Milliman, Secretary. Diane Phelps, Treasurer. Further, resolved further that the following staff person is hereby appointed as ex officio of this corporation. Bradley Hudson, Vice President ex officio. Resolved further that Resolution 9016-51, adopted November 9th, 2016, is hereby amended to the extent that it differs. And resolved further that the officers and agents of this corporation are directed on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution. I so move.
Second, all in favor? All in favor? Unanimous.
All right.
Okay. How about comments from the board members? Anybody want to say anything? Judith?
I would. For a long time, we've gone over the procedures and for the boards and everything, and one thing we keep bringing up and never seem to do is allow the directors that have been directors for a while but never been an officer, trade positions. And so I think this is a good opportunity to get some new blood in the officer seats, and I wish there were even more, and because they all have strengths in those areas. And although I'm a leader, I'm really a harder worker, and I'm very happy to remain in the hard-working position.
Thank you. Anybody else? Well, I'm going to say a few. Yes. Please, please.
I congratulate everybody, and Annette mentioned something during the campaign, and I look forward to the recreation of the president and vice president meetings, and I offer a corner of our dining room where we can be private.
Nice.
That's very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I guarantee you, we are going to participate in that, pledge our support, this whole board. My goals for next year are to get us even closer together, to work better together, to respect one another's expertise more, and really work for this community and all the boards in the best professional manner we can. I know there's been some bickering in the past, but I'm for all team play. We're all a team. We've got to make this place better and keep it rolling and honor the people that have been here before us by doing a good job and working together. I thank all of the people here for your support. Meeting adjourned.
No, wait.
Because we didn't want to have to deal with it, and we're looking forward to a new year and a new time. And we already have a possible date for our president's meeting, and now we have a location so we could work on it, so that's great.
Just send me an email so I
Yeah,
know.
so that's good. Thank you very much, and good luck to all of you, even though I would have loved to have seen Judith as an officer, but that's okay. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosemary. Appreciate it. Juanita.
I also congratulate all the new officers, but I have a request, please appoint your committee chairs as soon as possible, because we on the mutuals have meetings coming up next week when we have to endorse and pass resolutions on who our committee members are going to be, and we like to do that when we know who the committee chair is going to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Juanita. In departing, I will mention to all the members that send me an email with your requests for committees as soon as possible, so we can honor the mutual's request and we can get started in a positive way. I will treat everybody with dignity and respect.
Oh, I have a question.
promise you.
Is the CAC meeting still happening tomorrow? CAC.
Yes, and
Okay.
Beth will chair that.
Okay. We
committee.
wanted, all right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other closing comments? Okay.
I just wanted to say that I've had the pleasure of working on boards with every single person on this new board except for one. And I just know she's going to do a great job too. And it is really, looking around, such a strong board. Every person here are workers and look positively toward doing the best we can for our community. Thank you.
Anyone else? Last. Fred? Meeting adjourned.